Hello friends, welcome back to another episode of CivOps Gear, reviewing all the EDC gear for everyone from the discerning civilian all the way to the experienced operator. Today we are doing something that I don't know how it's going to work out. I've never done it before, don't know if it's going to work, but I'm going to be selling this very cool CRKT M-16 04Z. And before I sell it, I want to take it apart and clean it up. It's just a little dusty. I want to clean up the blade. I want to make sure I put some new Loctite in on the screws. I want to make sure it's nicely oiled and the action is as perfect as possible. This is not like a super expensive or collectible knife, and so I feel fine taking it apart. The worst possible thing that happens is that I mess it up and I can't get it back together and I'm out the 40 bucks or so that this knife is going to cost anyway. So if it doesn't work out, I probably won't even play this video or post this video. So let's see, what screw, oh my goodness, that's a flathead screw. What are we going to need? Those look like T6s on the pocket clip. These are probably T6s or T8s maybe. Let's see, what do we need? Let's see, are these T8s? Those are T8s, okay. All right, so we're gonna need a T8. Where's our T6? We're gonna need, T6 should be right here. All right, first things first. Off with the pocket clip, off with its head. Meanwhile, if you, this is not a new knife, obviously. The CRKT M16s have been out a very long time. And I've got several of them. I'm only keeping one or two of them. I'm keeping the automatic, which was a very limited edition and very cool. I'm keeping the titanium. And I'm gonna actually get one of the new deadbolts with a new locking system. So I'm gonna get rid of this and a couple other ones. I'm also gonna sell this orange rescue version. If anyone's interested, this is the M16 14ZER, as you can see. But I'm also gonna try to clean this one up because you can see there's some oil smudged on there and you know, it's never been used. It's perfectly centered. Been carried a little bit, but hardly ever used, certainly never used for a rescue or anything like that. So let's see what happens when we take this bad boy apart. All right, so from what I'm noticing right now, it looks like all we have holding this thing together are two T8s here in the rear on each side going into the back spacer, and then a flathead pivot. Let's see, flathead pivots. Interesting. Is this going to be big enough to unscrew that? Let's see. Yes, it certainly is. All right, doesn't seem like there's really any Loctite on this at all, because these screws are coming right out. Oh, interesting. All right, seems there is a washer. Oh, clearly there was some blue Loctite on there, but okay. So there's a washer on the inside. All right, interesting. Like I said, I've never taken one of these apart, so, all right. Boy, that wants to come right apart, doesn't it? All right, so let's use our T8 and take these back screws out. Is this gonna be free spinning? What's going on here? Interesting. These are just spinning. Oh. Are those, what's going on here? Oh, those are, yeah, okay. What was I using? Oh, I was using a T6. That's why they were free spinning. All right, T8. Put that there. T8. So like I was saying, the CRKT M-16 is certainly not a new knife, but has kind of become somewhat of an iconic knife. And so if you find this helpful at all, that's good. I'm glad to be of assistance. I hope that you will like this video and share it with any of your CRKT M-16 liking friends. Come on. Oh, much longer screws on the reverse side. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. All right, so this is coming off easily. Yeah, look at that. This is icky, icky. All right, so we have a Teflon washer on this side. And then we have a bronze washer on this side. Very interesting. All right, there goes our back spacer, and there goes our long rear screw. And now we're fully disassembled here. Let's push the pivot out. There we go. And we have one more lock. That's that extra locking system right there. All right, so we've got some cleaning to do. Teflon washer on the show side. This washer, bronze washer on the rear side. All right, we've got some cleaning to do. That came apart easy enough. That's always a pleasure. Just recently, I took apart a Gerber 06 Auto, and that was literally a nightmare. Not to take apart, although also kind of to take apart, because Gerber, in their infinite wisdom, decided to use so much red Loctite, and I mean so much red Loctite, that it was just about impossible. In fact, one screw, even after I hit it with a heat gun, one of the screws was so Loctited that no matter how much heat I put on it, it's still stripped. I tried to take it out with 3 different T8 bits and loads and loads and loads of heat, and it's still stripped. So I could not get the back spacer out. And then it took me about 2.5 days to figure out how to put that nightmare of a knife back together. But the good news was, once I got it back together, it performed so much better than it did out of the box. For some reason, coming to me brand new from Gerber, it had a very slow, weak action. It was very off-centered. And after I finally got it back together, it's now nicely centered and has a very strong action. I finally now see what the big deal was about the Gerber 06 once I got it back together. Why the military contracted for it. But I did not understand that at all when I first got it. All right, that's better. Anyway, back to the CRKT M-16. The CRKT M-16 is also sort of geared for the first responder community. It's at least this particular size is a large knife, 4-inch blade, and double locking system. So it certainly cannot just close up on you when you're not expecting it. Boy, this is, I've had this knife for a very long time, and it is gooky. Gooky, gooky. Right, there's a spring in there for that added bonus lock system. All right, let's get this liner cleaned, and then we will see if we can remember how this thing came apart. The M16 series, obviously the biggest of the, or the M1604s, the biggest of the M16 series, There are 02s and 03s, respectively sized. But, you know, I like larger knives, and so I always, oh, what the heck is that? So I always went for the larger 04 size, was never all that interested in the smaller ones. They just kind of looked and felt a little bit cheap to me, and I was never that interested in them. But these large size always felt very, very cool. They make a really cool lockup noise when they open up because of that double locking system. Kind of a very cool clicky sound. All right, let's get everything wiped down here just a little bit. Wipe down the back spacer. Thank you, CRKT, for only using a moderate amount of blue Loctite in these knives and not pulling the Gerber move of using literal gobs and gobs and gobs of red Loctite to the point that you literally cannot take a screw out. That was very, very frustrating. So if you are a user of the CRKT M-16, I hope that this is helpful to you in some way. Let me back up. I hope that I can put this knife back together, and if so, then I hope it's helpful to you in some way. Let's get this little bronze washer wiped down. Oh, come back here, little bronze washer. Alrighty. Let's wipe down this added lock system. Just try to get all the years worth of dust and pocket crud and carrying case foam dust off of here. Let's even wipe down our Teflon washer, which seems to be shrouded in some dust, or case foam dust. Case foam dust or foam case dust, regardless. You guys know what I mean. All right. That seems to be okay. I wonder if, now that this is so cleaned, you know, it was still working nicely before I took it apart and cleaned it. So once I put it back together, I really wonder if it's going to work so nicely that I'm not going to want to sell it anymore. I hope that's not the case, because I really, really, really need to make some room in the knife cases, you guys. I've got too many knives, and most of them are of a higher material quality than this CRKT M-16. The auto version is very, very cool. That's all made in America with CPM 154 steel. And the auto version is almost like a whole different knife than these ones you get at, you know, Bass Pro Shop or Amazon, any of these just regular M16s. All right, let's get this main pivot screw cleaned off. And of course there's going to be remnants of blue Loctite on there, but that's okay. We got off whatever wants to come off. Let's put this pivot, this bronze washer back on there. All right, and now one last little thing. Let's grab a Q-tip. Just a little bit more rubbing alcohol, just a little bit. Just enough to clean out the main pivot holes here. Make sure we get all the gunk off so that we have clean, smooth contact between the blade stock and the pivot, and between the liners as well, so that we don't have any little particles adjusting our centering. Get that cleaned out. That cleaned out, and I think we are good here. All right. Okay, looks good. All right, now let's see about possibly putting this guy back together. Let's see, this guy is going to go in here. We know that to be the case. We know that you're supposed to be on top of that hinge, not below it. So this will be interesting. Can we get that little hinge, that little spring pulled down below you? Yep, there we go. All right, there we go. No problem there. I wonder, should we put just a little bit of oil inside there? What do you guys think? Let's put just a little bit of, what should we use here? Number 5 oil probably on that. Maybe we'll use number 10 on the blade, on the pivot. But let's just put just a little smear of oil. Yeah, that's kind of a lot. That's not a little smear, but that's okay. We'll spread that around a little bit. All right, that's enough. Now let's put you back in there. And we will push that spring down again. All right, in place. Very good. I'm not one who's afraid of a little much oil. I find that to be pretty much fine. What's the worst that's going to happen? It's going to drip a little bit of oil. That's okay. Let's see. It's this. Yes. So you can see how that added lock works. This safety lock has a little piece that juts up right there. And unless you pull that out of the way, the liner cannot close all the way. So you've got to adjust, you've got to pull that spring-loaded safety out of the way, and then you can move your liner out of the way and free your blade. But if you don't pull this safety lock down, then your liner will not move out of the way of the blade. So that's how that works. Let's put our pivot back in here. This is going to be a D-shaped pivot so that it is not free spinning. And we see that it lines up just like that. Just like so. Sits nice and flush in there. Okay. We've got that in place. Now we're going to switch to number 10 nano oil for the pivot and the washers. Nope, 85 is too strong. Don't need you, 85. Let's go to number 10. All right, so we're going to put just a little bit of oil right here, right where that washer is going to sit. Should be fine. All right, there goes that little bronze washer in place. Let's rotate it around a little bit, get the oil spread out. Okay, and now what do we do next? Now we want to put our blade in place. Okay, blade in place. And there's no springs involved here, so that'll be nice and easy to put this back together. And we move our safety, make sure that our blade, all right, very good. All right, lovely. And then let's use a little bit more oil here, especially because this is going to be a Teflon washer. Okay. You know what? I might want to put just a little bit of oil on the detent ball track as well. So why don't we do that? We'll put just a little bit of oil on the detent ball track, because we can see that over time that's left its marks. All right. And oil is in place. All right, now we'll drop our Teflon washer back on. There we go. Put just a smidge on the other side. All right, and then what's next? We want to, you know what, probably when there's a back spacer involved, probably I want to screw this back spacer in on one side first. Let's see about doing that. Yeah, it's okay, we can drop the pivot out. How does this go? Well, clearly it's going to go like that. Okay, very well. Where are our holes here? Well, there's one right there, and I think we'll find the other one. Oh, somebody very loud just drove by. That was unnecessarily loud. Don't traffic outside my house know when I'm shooting a video? Bastards. And I can say that because these videos are not monetized. All right, now let's see. Here's what's interesting. These screws are not going to screw in really to anything until the other liner is in place. Very interesting. All right. Fascinating. Ah, there we go. That's better. And now we found our other one as well. There we go. Put that screw in there. Everybody's back in their homes. Let's put our pivot back in, and then we shall reassemble. All right. Blade back in place. Good. Yeah, those long screws are going to have to screw back into the other side of this liner. So, okay, that's what's going to have to happen. All right, that's looking right. And then this and this. All right, let's see how this goes. Let's see how this goes. Oh, you magnetized bit. All right, let's back our screw up, make sure that we don't cross thread anything. And now we're going to tighten that screw down. And now that that's in place, let's go ahead and put our body screws back in. T6, T8, there we go. Let's tighten these guys in. There we go. And now we've got that tension because they're screwing into the liners on the other side. Okay. Now we can take the shorter ones, put those back in place, and those don't really hold the back spacer in place. They're too short. They're just screwing into their own side's liner. So one of these side's liners has double the amount of holes in it than the other side. So that's interesting. All right. These screws are tightened down. Those are in place. And now we should have the luxury of being able to play with this pivot until we feel like it is good to go. Oh, look at how much we need to tighten still. Yes, you are quite not tight yet. All right, so we need far more tension here. Now that might be too tight. Have we made it impossible to close? Yes. All right, but we're centered. So we'll back it out just a smidge. Now we're centered and the action's good. There's not really any blade play, but now there's no blade play. Now we are nicely centered. See, that's a good, I like the build quality on this knife because, you know, there was nothing complicated about it. Once the pivot's in place and the blade is on the pivot, you're centered. That's really all there is to it. The action is much, much smoother now. All right, good action. Our added bonus safety lock works. Not really a drop shut type knife. All right, so now that we figured that out, let us take this main pivot out again, and we're gonna put a little bit of blue Loctite on there. Make sure that we keep it in place. All right. A little bit of blue Loctite, and then we will be all done, and we'll put our pocket clip back on, and we'll box this bad boy up. And then we'll probably do the same thing, probably not on camera, with the Orange Rescue knife as well. All right, that's kind of a lot. Oh, you little bastard, come here. You little bastard. I'm a little bastard, yes I am. All right. And once again, let's, come here, you magnetic bit. Let's back it up, make sure we don't cross thread anything. There we go. And we tighten it down. And let's see where we're at here. Oh, now it's tight, but off center. Okay. What is our issue now? We should have put the blue Loctite on to begin with. Oh, there we go. We got a little, got to fix some pressure here. All right, you know what we need to do is pull the blade out. There we go. Now we can see what's going on here. Oh, our pivot is not in. What's that all about? What is that all about? What have we done here? Oh, now the pivot's in, okay. All right, now the pivot is in. Put our washer back and our main screw back. And we'll try this again ski. Come on. All right, let's back you out. Avoid any cross thread. What is the problem here? There we go. All right. Now we're better. We might be too tight. Yep. Too tight. But we're centered and still a little bit tight. Boop. There we go. All right, centered. Not really, but more of a suggestion of blade play than I would like there to be. Yeah. All right, I think we're good here. No blade play, up and down, forget about it. Left to right, nope. Centered. Yep. Action. Good. Safety lock. Working. Spring loaded. So we deploy that, hit our liner, and then go for the close. Got it. All right. Oh, now that oil is setting in. It's really getting smooth. Beautiful. All right. Yeah, look at that big beefy boy. 4-inch blade, Tonto. Kit Carson design. M1604Z. Like I said, the automatic version is made in America. I don't believe these are. These clearly are not. Let's wipe just a little bit of that excess oil off of there. It's going to leak a little bit of oil, but that's fine. You can never have too much lube. Unless you've got so much lube that, anyway, never mind. That was not going to go anywhere good or appropriate. Perfect. All right, all done. Let's take our T6, put our pocket clip back in for right-handed tip-up carry, and then we are all done. This knife has been cleaned and serviced, and it's ready for its next lucky owner. Especially because they're going to get it for, I guarantee, much less than I paid for it. Because I bought it brand new back when, boy, years ago when these were hot. These don't get a whole lot of attention anymore. But the new deadlock system is pretty cool, so I am going to be buying a new one. But I got to make room first. All right, T6 screws back in, pocket clip tightened down, good amount of flex, beautifully centered, great action, safeties are working, liners working, beautiful, good to go. Hope this was helpful, you guys. I will see you on the very next episode of CivOps Gear Reviews. In fact, it might even be out the same day that this video is out, because now that I've just finished this, I'm going to go take a new pump action pistol grip Mossberg 500 I just got, and I'm going to accessorize the hell out of it and make it into a tactical shotgun, and I'm going to do it all on video with you. Make sure that you like this video, please. Subscribe to the channel, share the video, please leave a comment, and make sure to follow us on Instagram at CivOps_gear. See you guys on the very next episode. Bye-bye.